Hello, Jason Wilkowski, 222 East Ave. And I must confess, this is my first time speaking in a forum like this, so if I don't follow all the correct formats and everything, please excuse me. I also brought some stuff to read if that's okay. It's also not lost on me that every week you guys are here doing good work, passing motions on things for our town, and you did that long before the crowds came, and you'll be doing it long after the crowds leave. Well, after it's defeated, that is. The crowds will leave. Anyway, in all seriousness, I want to thank you for the good work that you're doing. You can walk around our town, you can see that it's a nice place. Many of you guys have played a key role in that, and I thank you. And you have a tough job to do. You didn't necessarily ask for it. You're giving up your extra time away from family, work, and other things to make a difference. And frankly, I feel like our town does pretty well. And I also think that maybe you thought that you were doing a good thing here, and that people think that you're doing a good thing here. Bring in a few bucks, bring in a few jobs, a couple new roads, some cars. At first glance, it might sound like a good idea and a good thing, but I'm here to tell you that I feel like it's not a good thing, and I think that's why we need to hear more public opinion on this so that you guys can understand what the people of town really want, which they value more, a few bucks saved off their electricity bills, or to keep the nice, beautiful spaces that we have. Okay, so as I said, my name is Jason Wilkowski. I do live here in Harrisville, and I have to fess up, I am not from Burrillville originally. Sorry. Let me further tell you, I'm not even from Rhode Island. Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. However, I did marry a very lovely girl from Rhode Island 15 years ago, who is a daughter of Burrillville, and in fact, a third-generation daughter of Burrillville. I'm actually from... Fourth. I got 15 years right. That's the important part. So I'm actually from, more confession time, I'm actually from upstate New York. Don't hold that against me. I converted a very long time ago to be a Sox and a Pats fan. That's very easy to do. So I tell you that because I met my wife in Oregon, out on the West Coast, where we lived for many, many years. And people used to ask me when we would come back and visit, how in the world did you get a Rhode Island girl out of Rhode Island? Everywhere we went, somehow people know that that's a thing. I didn't know that was a thing. And I would say, I don't know, really. So especially when we moved back east here, and we lived outside of Boston, people would ask me that. And then years later, when we moved back to Burrillville, they said, see, we told you couldn't take a Rhode Island girl out of Rhode Island. But I tell you that story for a reason. To tell you the truth, it was my idea to move back here to Burrillville. She didn't even have to bring it up. I'm the one that brought it up, and let me tell you exactly why. First, she used to tell me these wonderful stories of growing up in Burrillville with her two brothers. And frankly, it just basically sounded like Mayberry, a mix of Mayberry and a Norman Rockwell painting in me. And she used to tell me wonderful stories of the time playing in the woods, swimming in lakes, fishing in rivers, stories of what they called the wet place, catching frogs as kids. Now that I'm grown up, I know the wet place is actually wetlands and vernal pools and things like that. But when I heard these stories, I wanted that for my kids. That's the kind of growing up experience that I wanted for my kids. And let me tell you, I've traveled a lot. And I travel for work, as many of you do. And there are precious few places like that left. And so I recognized a good thing when I saw it, and I wanted my kids to grow up here too. And I'm going to tell you something else, and don't laugh. The other thing that I loved, and when we come down to visit, I loved the air. We would drive down from Boston, we'd get out of our parents' yard, and I thought, man, it smells really nice here. And I'm sure you all have experienced that. You've gone away, you've come back, and you smell the air. I would comment on it every time. So, what did we do? We bought a house here with some land and some trees and a stream in the back with our own wet place for our kids. And with the dream that our kids would one day have the same experience and stories that my wife shared. And you know what? Our kids play outside in the woods. They enjoy the lakes and the rivers. And literally just a few days, and this is so ironic, just a few days before the last sighting board meeting, they caught their very own spotted salamander themselves out in our brook. And I let them play with it for the afternoon, set up a little terrarium, and then give it back. So I'm not from here, but I've lived here for over 10 years, and I suppose it makes me a little different because it puts me in the position of being able to tell you that what you have here is very, very special. I moved here on purpose because it was beautiful, and I would like it to stay that way. So as you can see, I'm just an ordinary resident from Burrillville. I'm not an environmentalist. I'm not an activist. I don't have a platform. I don't make any money if this plant is built, and I don't make any money if the plant's not built. I'm just a citizen. An average, ordinary citizen, and let me say, I am concerned. I'm a concerned citizen, I guess you would say. I'm concerned about the health impact, I'm concerned about the environmental impact, and I'm concerned about the financial and business impact. I'm concerned about the amount of toxins and known hazardous pollutants that this plant is projected to spew into the air based on the company's own application. We didn't make that up. It's not inaccurate. You can go and read. I actually took the time to read 471 pages. I'm sure many of you have as well. You can read that I'm concerned. I see that this amount of pollutants are going to be spewed in the air. I become concerned. And frankly, I don't care what dispersion models you run, the basic laws of science tell me that what goes up must come down. And especially in the winter. I think you all know we get a lot of snow here, more than anywhere else in Rhode Island. So what happens then? Where does all that come down? Right in our heads, right in our lakes, right in our rivers, and right in our land. I'm concerned.
Right now, well.
I'm concerned about the experiment of reopening a poisoned well to funnel through the plant, evaporate well over 50% of that into our air, and send the rest down to the sewer plant and out into our rivers. I'm a concerned citizen. I am concerned about the risks of accidents at this mega fracked gas plant across a broad spectrum of areas, frankly. We could talk for a very long time about the possibility of accidents. And you could ask the people, the good people of Connecticut, about that. Nobody wants an accident to happen. Nobody plans for an accident to happen. That's why they're called accidents. We didn't ask for the plant to come and introduce that risk. I'm concerned. Let me also take this opportunity at this point to say that I don't need you to bring in paid experts to tell me that this level of hazardous pollution is actually okay for me. I don't need you to tell me that this experiment of filtering MTPE filtered well and the risk with that is actually okay. I don't need you to tell me that the risk of accident is low. We won't have an incident like Connecticut. I don't need you to tell me that that's okay. I don't need the risk. I didn't ask for the risk. I don't want the risk. And I will not sell the health and well-being of my family for a few pennies, for some new parks for my kids to play in and poisoned air, a few new roads and vehicles around town. I will not sell it for that. Let's briefly talk about the environment. I am concerned that we would even consider putting something like this in a place that is so beautiful. It is a beautiful area and region. Someplace that has many wonderful natural resources as we have. I'm concerned about the cutting down of hundreds of acres. And make no mistake, it is hundreds of acres when you add the segmentation together. I think you're aware of that. Filling in wetlands and displacing species to invest in something like this. Okay, we know that sometimes we have to cut down trees for development. This isn't even for homes. This isn't even for people to live in. This is to build something as ugly as a power plant. You can call it the Clear River Power Plant. You can call it clean energy. It's not. It's cleaner. Okay, we're tearing down a forest to build this. I'm concerned. Of course, I know why the company wants to put it here. We have access to transmission lines, access to gas pipeline, fracked gas pipeline, and access to water. Those are the three things that they need. And if I'm them, I make the same decision. I come to you, I'll take that 7 days a week, and I'll come to you and I'll say, hey, you have the three things that I need. Can I put this plant here? It's up to us to say, no, thank you, we don't want it, thank you for offering, it's not worth it to us. It's up to us to say, no thank you, we think we can do better. I am concerned, like someone else said, in all honesty, as a citizen, I am concerned about what appears to be a lack of transparency. I am concerned about people that make statements that they are neutral, yet espouse the value of the plant while downplaying the concerns of the very citizens that it's going to affect. Some of those people that don't even live in our town. I'm concerned because people seem to say, we already have a power plant. No one seems to be commenting about that. What's so bad? Well, a lot is bad. First, there's a cumulative effect, and second, this thing is huge. Okay, this is nothing like the other one that we have. Twice the size or more. So there's that. I am concerned also, in all honesty, as a citizen, about a council that will not stand up to represent the will of the people that elected me. And I say that with all the respect in the world, because for some of you, I put signs in my front yard for you, and you walked down my driveway, and you told me about yourself, and you asked for my vote, and I put signs in my yard for you, and yet you have not come to ask me about this. Now we hide under the banner of neutrality. We did not elect you to do that. We elected you to represent us. Please, I urge you, come out into the community, find out what the people really want. The bulk of the people, not just us in here, but the bulk of the people. I encourage you to do that. Last I heard, the Burrillville finances were doing okay. Don't let greed or opportunity lead you to do the wrong thing. Is a few new parks, roads, and town vehicles really worth what we are about to do here? I know you can't do anything about this, but I'm concerned about a governor and anyone else that attempts to marginalize the people of Burrillville by labeling us as protesters. Do I look like a protester to you? I reject that moniker. I'm a citizen. We are all just citizens whose voices should be heard, valued, and respected. While we're talking about it, I'm concerned about this notion of a neutral position. Since when did taking a neutral position ever lead to the best deal? I assume that many of us here have done negotiating. Since when was that a strong position to negotiate from? Frankly, the only reason to remain neutral is if you're actually for something and you don't want people to know. And I don't say that necessarily only to you, but that's just good business. If you want something, don't let down about it, remain neutral. So again, in transparency, that gives us pause. I am concerned about saying we need to wait until all the facts are in. What additional facts are we waiting for that is nothing more than PR? I would tell you that I feel honestly we've not even published all the facts that we have available from the application. Here are some of the facts we know already. There's going to be over 3 tons of hazardous pollutants spewed into the air a year. There's going to be 3.6 million tons of CO2 spilled into the air a year. I don't see that printed anywhere alongside the values that this plant will bring us for our economy. We also know that we anticipate application for 3 variances at least or more: tower height, sound, construction hours. It sounds to me like we know an awful lot already. What I don't need, and what any of us don't need, are paid experts to come and tell us that what they do plan to spew and what they do plan to do results in an acceptable level of risk. I say the risk is unacceptable. I say the risk is not worth the reward. I say that everyone should have access to this information, and that they would make the same assessment. I am fully aware that you have said the town has no role in stopping this plan, no legal role in stopping this plan, and it is the sole discretion of the Energy Facility Study Board. Okay, even if that's true, and there's no role to play, and that's the best path forward, don't you think that a statement from the Burrillville Town Council against the plan would go a long way? Even if you don't care about the environment at all, which I know some of you do. Even if you don't care about our health or your health, which of course I know you do. Perhaps you can care about your own position and future. Rhode Island, and specifically Burrillville, actually has a rich history of innovation. We were a big part of the Industrial Revolution. We are the state of the first vacation resort town. We are the state of fried calamari, for goodness. We can do better than this. In closing, we didn't ask for this. I didn't ask for this. We don't want to assume the risk. The way I see it, the noise is growing as people are waking up to what's being proposed. And we, the citizens, do not appreciate not being consulted. So while I am just an average, ordinary citizen, I am very, very concerned. Thank you very much.